at the beautiful TX Whiskey Ranch in Fort Worth, Texas. All proceeds from the evening will benefit families of first responders. You need to get your tickets today at bluefund.org.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past 2 years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage is only $75 per month, level for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can buy $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rates for 20 years. And if you're a smoker, we have great rates for you as well. At the Term Lifeline, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. So if you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call right now for a free quote.
Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes are based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting exam required to qualify. 800-803-2142. 800-803-2142. 800-803-2142. That's 800-803-2142.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Good morning. I guess I'm not going to wait till the music stops. Welcome to JoCo Vibes. I am Nona Reed. Tiffany will be here in a few. And today at the first half, we have April Long, who is the primary candidate for Johnson County Clerk. She has been in the, sorry, I ran to go get something. Got to catch the breath. She has been in the county clerk office for over 8 years, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to let April kind of take over while I get her earpiece fixed. Go ahead and take over.
So I have been in the clerk's office for 8 years. I've worked as a court clerk for 2 years, and then I was the recording supervisor for 2 years. And I'm currently the chief deputy, and I've been there for 4 years in the court section. So we have about 6 departments. I've worked in at least 3 of those. So
your current role, current role, let me get that out correctly. That was really Texan there. You said chief
deputy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Once I get myself settled, I'm trying to multitask, and sometimes it kind of puts me over.
Yeah.
That's the blonde. What does that consist of to kind of help you prepare for the county clerk?
So what I do is
that okay, or is it too loud?
A little loud.
Okay,
It's
I'll
fine.
turn it down.
It's fine. Is I work with all the court clerks. So we have 6 different courts that we send clerks to. We have 2 of our court at laws, and then we have 3 a CPS court, and then 3 that we have district courts that hold the felonies, and then we have to plead the felonies, or we can plead the felonies into the misdemeanors, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I research statutes. If a statute's changed, I go in there and I research it, figure out how do we need to change our policies and procedures to effectively complete those statutes. Personnel aspects of it, making sure that we do have enough clerks to cover court. Like I said, personnel stuff, send reportings. If we don't send our reports we have an Office of Court Administration that reviews all of our reports, all of our courts. And there's many reports that have to be sent in. So looking at budgets and figuring out where we have what we need to spend for, new chairs or what we need to order for supplies, making sure that we are within our budget that the Commissioners Court has set for us.
Okay.
So that's the main aspects. As far as what the clerk does, she deals a lot with those budgets, and same thing with doing the policies and procedures. So that's something that I've been training for the past 4 years, is to get to know exactly what she does, getting to know the budgets and what we have. I mean, we're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars in just some budgets.
Right.
And that's just one line item sometimes. So we have multiple line items that we have to go through, and those are all bound by statutes. And you can't go and spend with this one line item on a pencil. It has to be spent on something that's very, very specific. Otherwise, the county is liable, and the county can get fined and get in trouble for that. So it's very important to know what you're looking at, know those statutes,
and what can be spent and where it can be spent.
Yeah.
I was a teacher for 20 years, and we were up for a bond, and the superintendent at the time actually gave a great little visual with his he didn't really have anything, but it gave a good visual. He just talks about, like there's this chain of money, and it's chained to one certain thing. It sounds like Tiffany's trying to come in.
I'm here if you can hear me.
We can. I was
Good morning, April.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm running a little late because I'm on mom duty again. I'm so sorry.
Well, we all understand that.
I'm so glad you're joining us this morning. So keep going.
Thank you.
Keep going where you were in the conversation.
But he just talked about, like, you can't break that chain to pull that money, a certain piece of that money, and move it to another chain, because it's just not, you can't do it.
Right.
So, because he was talking about, specifically special ed, because, a lot of the funds come from the state, and it trickles down, and they cannot spend special ed money for anything but special ed needs. And, it's, so you can't borrow from Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
It's just not that way. And it works in all levels, but I always thought that, that was great that he used that.
Yeah.
It kind of gave some people, oh, okay. Most teachers do know that, but it was, he was just kind of explaining how he was going to talk to the residents, because not all residents understand.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think
can't
a lot of people don't
pull
realize
from one to pay the other. They think it's all in one big old checking account. It's not.
No. No. And all of that stuff for us is set by Commissioners Court. We go through there and we give them a budget of what we know we need to spend. We try to be very conservative in what we spend, and know that, I'm going to need $20,000 for supplies for this year. And we try to stick to that $20,000.
Right.
And that Commissioners Court is the one that approves that. So it's not just we get all this money in a bucket and then we can spend it however we want to. That is not the case at all.
Right.
And you have to know that.
Right.
So
the current county clerk is just stepping down.
Becky Abbey, she's retiring.
She's retiring.
Been with the county overall 32 years.
Wow.
Think. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then she's been the county clerk for, my foot in my mouth, probably 10 years.
Okay.
I think by the time this is all over, 11 or 12, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. She served her term.
Yes, so. she does, and hopefully done a great job. I actually do not know how well she did. Yeah. I didn't really look into that, not think about it. And that's a lot of things that us residents in Johnson County, we don't always think about all the little positions. So, what made you decide that you think this is the route to go?
Being in the clerk's office and being the chief deputy for the past 4 years, I know what those clerks go through. I know what they have to, and I'll just talk about courtside for right now, because that's where I'm at. But I know the work that they put into in the courtroom, and how much some of that can go on their mental. Because if you go into a CPS hearing and we have one clerk that's what she does every single day, every single week. She goes to CPS hearings, and that can wear on a person. And so just seeing how much effort they put in on a day-to-day basis and knowing what a great job that they do, I don't want that to fall to the wayside. I don't want everything that the office has worked for over the past, even before Becky was there, everything that we've done to put procedures in place and do the right thing. I don't want that to fall to the wayside.
Right.
From someone who doesn't know what they're doing. So it's not just for me, and it's not, but it's for the office. I worked in recording, and I worked with some of the great clerks in the real property records, and they do an amazing job. We never have any, there's not any issues over there. They know what they're doing. And if they have questions, they call and they ask questions. So it's for them to make sure that their jobs are secure. The statutes are being upheld the way they should be upheld. So yeah.
Good. Oh, am I hearing? Is that you?
No, it's not.
Oh, hold on. May have the caller. Hello.
It's me. I had to switch.
Girl, I am sitting there hearing the vibration, and I'm going, April, is that you? And then I was like, I know it wasn't me. I was like,
it wouldn't let me.
Phone.
It wouldn't let me access my microphone in the stream right now. So, now I'm just listening. I'm listening to April, and I just, when you're going into these CPS and it's the same clerk going in, that's a lot of stress.
Yes, it is.
And people do that. And you guys have put a lot of processes into place. And they're, when you've been there 8 years, which, thank you to Becky for her service. Thank you to you for your service, because that's a long time already with the city in your position. So, you've got a lot of experience under your belt already. I guess some people would say, well, why would you want to step into that role? And my question is, why wouldn't you want to step into that role?
Right.
It seems like the natural progression for you, because of your experience. What does that experience bring to the table, though, that somebody coming from the outside wouldn't necessarily know about? And in this case, I guess we could talk directly about your opponent. Not expecting you to say anything negative about him. Obviously he's been in the court system. We know what he does. But what is it that he doesn't really understand about this position that he is vying for?
Well, there's a lot that goes into it, and not just on the court section of the court side. Did we lose her?
No.
Okay.
I might have just my earpiece. Go ahead. I think you're okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm here.
Okay. Not just on the court side, but there are statutes that you have to research, and that right now, that is a vital part of my job. If a statute changes, we have to know, and we have to be aware of that. I've built relationship with other clerks. I've built relationship with TAC over the past 4 years. So we are aware when statutes change, but you have to know how to read them. I'm not an attorney. I did not go to law school, but I've spent the last really 6 years teaching myself how to read these statutes. It's not black and white. You have to read that thing sometimes 6, 7 different times before you really understand what they are trying to get across to you. And that's something that the county clerk has to know how to do. I know, he is a bailiff and he does work in the courts, but he doesn't know the clerk procedures. We are not just, let me give you this order, let me give you this piece of paper, and you go put it in a book. That's not how it works at all. There's notices that have to be sent out. We have to know when to send them out, who to send them out to. There's postings that have to be done. There's copies that have to be sent to certain people within a certain amount of days. Like on protective orders, you have to get that information to the proper authority, usually to the sheriff's office, within 24 hours. If we don't do that, then obviously that could harm someone, because that person can go out and reoffend, and that officer not know it. So there's all these little bitty tiny procedures that you have to know, and that's just something you learn with time. When I came in as chief deputy, I didn't know all of that myself, but it takes time to learn that. And I'm still not 4 years in. I still don't know everything.
Right.
You can't. You're dealing with family cases, civil cases, juvenile cases, misdemeanor cases, traffic appeals, adoptions, mental health cases. I mean, probate, guardianship. There is a wide variety of case types that the county clerk's office holds. And you're not going to learn that in a year. You're not going to learn it in 2 years. I'm already there. I'm already established. I'm already learning the process.
Mhm.
And I want to continue to grow, not only myself, but grow the clerks. I want to send them to training. I want to send them to, other places that are outside of Johnson County. I want to expand their knowledge. And that's just talking courtside. We have a whole nother section that's recording and property that has nothing to do with the court section.
Mhm.
So, I mean, right now I'm just talking court. There's a whole nother department that has to be taken care of.
Right.
So there's 3 offices in the county clerk's office. We've got 2 in Cleburne, 1 at the Burleson sub courthouse. And you have to know how to function with those 3 offices.
Especially one not being right there.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you have to make yourself available. I am always available. The clerks know that if I'm on vacation or if I'm at a meeting, all they got to do is text me. Hey, I sent you an email about such and such. Check your email. With 3 offices.
How many clerks are in the office currently?
42.
42.
And
And as county clerk, are you're the top? I mean, you're managing these people.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, talk about that. Even as deputy clerk, where's your people management skills come into play? As far as that experience, I'm assuming you're already taking on the duties of personnel management.
Right. Yeah. So I currently oversee 27 clerks, 4 different supervisors. So we have a supervisor in each different case type, and then 2 in criminal. But yeah, there's 27 clerks that I'm over currently at the moment. So as county clerk, I would be over 42 of those. And not just as, I was the supervisor in recording for 2 years and I had 6 different clerks that I was over. But even before working in the clerk's office, I worked for, I was in the banking industry. And for 6 of those years that I was in the bank, I was an assistant branch manager. I was a part of a conversion team where I had 2 other banks that I had to take care of within 30 to 60 days, usually, to make sure that they were converted whenever our bank would buy out their bank. So I am used to being able to multitask and travel to different locations while I'm still taking care of my main bank.
Right.
So I think at one point I had maybe 30 something people that were directly calling me every single day, sometimes for a month, sometimes 2 months, depending on how long it took. So I have that experience with management. I know that everyone has different personalities and you have to know how to manage those different personalities.
Right. So true.
Yeah. And honestly, with 42 women, you have to know how to manage that.
And sometimes there's 42 women, but we may have 2 personalities apiece,
Yeah,
depending
exactly.
on our day.
Yeah. And you have to know that.
At least we admit it.
I am not a morning person. And
Right.
my clerks know that when I come in there at 8 o'clock, I'm going to say hi and I'm going to go in my office for probably the next hour.
Right. I'm not a morning person either.
So
although 9 o'clock isn't too bad for me. But
yeah.
If we were doing the 7 o'clock show but for 20 something years, I was doing, getting up early and being at the schoolhouse. So.
Yeah.
But now I do like kind of being able to relax. Oh, let me turn you on.
Blue sandwiched in red. I
Yep.
like it. I like it. It's a sea of
Just being
Johnson County red.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
So
So good to meet you in person
Very
finally.
nice to
Although
meet
I
you.
kind of feel like we have met at some point now.
Possibly, yeah.
It's always good to put a face. I love listening to all your management experience. I think these are important factors that people don't think about when you're looking at what you do for a living, and the fact that you have 42 people that you're going to have to manage. It is a completely different role to step into if you have not managed people before.
Yes.
right.
And currently, with the fact that you are managing 27 people, is really just amazing. But tell people, for people who don't know you personally,
Mhm.
tell them about your history here in Johnson County, how long you've been here, tell us about your family and what you love about Johnson County.
Well, I was born in Cleburne. I've lived in Johnson County my entire life. I was born in the old hospital in
Me
Cleburne.
too.
So
My kids always say, "Oh my God, Mom, how many times you got to tell us that?"
I think it was probably maybe 2-3 years before it shut down is when I was born there. Yeah.
Well, Burleson didn't have a hospital at the time.
Yeah.
So
my mom and
Cleburne was
dad
where I was born.
both grew up in Johnson County. My granddad and my grandparents, they actually owned a car dealership in Cleburne for way before I was born. So my granddad, Jack Hodges, he owned Hodges Dodges. He
I
owned
love it.
the Dodges dealership.
Yeah.
It was right where Caddo is now in Cleburne. Or like it's not Caddo, but it's Black Sheep. That's where that dealership used to be.
Oh,
I still
okay.
have one of his car tags
Yeah.
that I've got to find that because it's just so neat to see.
Yeah.
And that was when my mom and my aunt were little. So I've got a 19-year-old son. He's in college right now. He's going to Hill. He has a potential for a track scholarship if he can keep his grades going like he's supposed to.
Oh, great.
And go to Kansas. So
Oh, wow.
and run
Yeah.
track.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I was immediately thinking, okay, he's going to go on to tech, but no, Kansas.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
that's a really good thing to bring up too. Just while we're there, is that if you do stay and go to Hill, that you can still scholarship out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so that's really important. Good luck to him. When will are we in year 2 here at Hill?
No, this is his first year. So he's going to take some more classes this summer. We're trying not to push too many hours on him. He, has dyslexia and, and so we're trying to manage him and manage his hours that he's using to make him successful. So it may take him longer, but he has a better chance of being successful. So he's going to take some more classes this summer. And then in the fall, the coach already told him that scholarship would still be there for him if he wanted it.
Fantastic.
So I'm excited for him.
Super excited for him. And okay, so keep going. So you have the 19-year-old. Is he the only one?
Yes.
He's the only one. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew, man, you're
Yeah.
almost out.
I
You're almost
know.
out the door.
You say that, but I thought that when he graduated too. And I was like, I'm almost there. No.
No, mine's
The almost 21-year-old is still
18 and a half.
she's in
And
Stephenville, but
yeah.
we're
I don't know that you're
totally
ever
understand.
done.
No.
I think I was probably
And the
28,
30-year-old,
29, and my
yeah.
mom was finally like, okay, good. I can breathe now.
well, our 30-year-old's doing pretty good. I can't complain about him. He's got a wife and 2 kids, and they're doing really great.
Yeah.
So just got to get 2 more.
Yeah.
What do you think? Gonna switch directions here for just a second. What do you think the most challenging part of what you've done so far in the past 8 years with the county clerk's office? What do you think the most challenging thing has been for you?
Building relationships. I think you have to build those relationships with the sheriff's office, with the county attorney's office. And sometimes it's not that easy because I'm not the one out there doing the day-to-day job.
Mhm.
I'm in my office trying to figure out how for them to do their day-to-day job, and so I think building those relationships with the individual departments has probably been the most challenging because 9 times out of 10, I'm only calling them when we're trying to figure something out, or they're only calling me when they're like, hey, we got this notice in and it doesn't have XYZ on there. How do we fix it? So just, I think building those relationships with the judges and feeling confident enough to know that you can go and ask the judges a question and go and talk to the county attorney and say, hey, this is what the statute's telling us. This is what we think needs to happen. I need your opinion.
Mhm.
So we know that we are doing the proper procedures. So yeah, I think that's probably been the most challenging is just building those relationships over the past 4 years. Because when you come in and you don't know half those people, it takes the right kind of person to go and talk to
Right.
them and feel, because you're asking them for an answer and feel
Mhm.
like
Right.
you're not as confident. So you're
Right.
wanting them to help you be confident.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I would assume too that it takes. If you're willing to run for this position, one, you have massive commitment because it's a greater commitment.
Yes.
And but to you, that you have a mutual respect with the people that you're already working with, that those relationships are already created. So I would look at it as, if you're elected into this position, it just flow continues.
Yeah,
exactly. We're not going to have any, skipping of beats or training time. It's you've been there, done that. Can you speak at all for how some of your counterparts, what their thoughts are on you running for this spot?
Yeah, I think I have the support of majority of the clerks. I know that there are a few here or there, and I'm, not gonna sugarcoat it or anything.
It's 42 people.
Yeah, you cannot please,
Not everybody.
you cannot
Right.
please everyone.
Right.
And so there are a few out there that I know would like to see something different, and I don't blame them at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also not Becky. So I
Right.
love Becky. She has done an amazing job in the clerk's office. But every person is going to manage differently.
Yes.
And that's about as much as I can say about that. No one is going to manage the same, period.
And you can still bring something different.
Exactly.
Because of the personality change difference.
Exactly.
And of the way you like things to go. There are things you can make go smoother or, might change up a little, but not make a huge, let's just toss it all and start over. And you also have to follow the law.
By statute.
So you do have a question from Sarah George.
Okay.
She said there have been comments made about turnover, retention, and employees' morale. What are your thoughts about this? Is there a problem?
So I would say you're always going to have turnover, especially in a county office. You are. I don't have all of the numbers with me. I know that over the past 4 years since I've been there as chief deputy, 60% of the people who have left, we have had some turnover, have retired, or they've left because they've moved for family reasons. We've had one that had to leave because she had a kid that was sick. Actually, two. I can't help that. And they're doing what's best for them. 40% of the clerks that have left, I think it's 40%, have left because they had another position somewhere else that's going to pay them more money. Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
That is, if they want to use our office as a stepping stone, give me 4 years and move on somewhere else. I'm okay with that. Does it take us 2 years to train a clerk? Sure does. But, I'm never going to begrudge anyone from going and bettering themselves and bettering the family.
Is there an incentivizing at moments like that? If someone is moving on, do you have an because of a higher salary opportunity? Do you have? We've got 40 seconds. Do you have opportunity to incentivize them to stay?
We
don't. So,
but Commissioner's Court sets our budget.
Okay.
And in your pay position,
that's
what you have.
Yep.
So now, unless somebody leaves and we're able to move you into that position, unfortunately, that's all we can do.
All right, 20 seconds. Toilet paper under or over?
Over.
Awesome.
And do you have a pick for Sunday's game?
I do not. I couldn't even tell you. My life is crazy.
I couldn't
right
even
now.
tell you who's playing.
I couldn't even tell you who's playing.
Wonderful.
Thank you for joining us. You did an amazing
Thank you for having
job.
me so much.
Good luck at the Good luck in the race. Stay with us in the second half. We have Duaine Goulding joining us here on JoCo Vibes. We'll be right back.
Abnormal realities.
I love my mom.
Yep. She sent me a message.
My mom did?
Yeah, Wednesday night. And she invited me over tomorrow night to watch Titanic and share a bowl of popcorn. And I accepted.
You did?
Yep.
That'd be fun.
And she calls it Chaps Only Night. Every Saturday night.
Look.
Miss Dixie,
Look,
how you doing? He said, it's my mom, bro. All right, it's my mom.
I want to hear the answer to the Titanic and popcorn. Go ahead, Mom. What's up?
Oh!
Hi, boys.
Hi,
I just
Mom.
wanted to ask Rocky if he wanted butter on that popcorn or not.
I would
my
rather
God.
have the butter somewhere else, but if popcorn's the only place I can have it, I'll take it.
Hey,
dude.
nobody says I can't roll around in it for a little bit.
All right, Mom.
That is my
Love
girl.
you.
I love you,
Mom.
Dixie.
Abnormal realities
Bye, Mom. Love you.
Dixie.
Bye. I love you too.
with Ron and Rocky. Weekdays, 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. on JoCo Community Radio.
Holy crap.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's wood tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered. When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson, Cleburne, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
Right? Yes, you can. Okay, welcome back to the second half of JoCo Community Radio. I am Nona Collins Reed, and Tiffany Carlin Hurd will get back in here in just a second. We're getting our next primary candidate for county judge now, Duaine Goulding, getting him settled in. Sorry, we kind of had to go really quick. Trying to get everybody ready. Okay, if you want to, you can put on the big headsets if you don't want to wear these. If you took your hat off.
These?
Yes. So.
As long as it's radio.
We're back.
Okay.
We're back. Oh, I didn't get that part.
These are not.
Hey, I'm trying to do it all. JoCo Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and we are live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen, simply go to tuneinjoco.com and download the free app. All of our shows can be found on any of your favorite podcast platforms such as Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and Spreaker. Check out our lineup and more on JoCoCommunityRadio.com. Thanks for tuning in. This episode and more is brought to you by Patriots Claim, formerly known as Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. Just reach out to your Texas State sales representative, Nona Reed. Yes, I'm promoting myself at 844-TEX-HELL. That is 844-TEX-HELL. 844-3839-4245. Because right now we're going to be getting into some storm times, and you definitely want to get me out in your corner and let us fight your insurance for you.
Man, I really threw you for a loop this morning. I'm
yes,
sorry.
Yes, you did. But I'm making it right.
You are. You're doing great.
Hopefully, I'm not sounding like totally, completely out of control.
You're not. I'm hitting the wrong graphics. I got all kinds of stuff going on.
Well, I was going to say, I thought I had us back where people could see us.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's my fault.
Duaine's going to think we're really like so unorganized here.
Well, welcome back to the second half of JoCo Vibes here on JoCo Community Radio. We've got Duaine Goulding joining us now at the table. Good morning, Duaine.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
And it's our pleasure. Thanks for saying yes. Not everybody says yes, although I think we're doing pretty good with these county elections and these state elections. So really appreciate you coming in here to talk about why you're running. And for county judge is what you're running for.
That's correct.
You've got a very large, beautiful family, from what I can see from your website. And if you don't know anything about Duaine yet, he is running for county judge here in Johnson County, Texas. His website is dgoulding.com. That's DGOULDING.com, and you can learn tons about him. It's got a great letter in here to the taxpayers, by the way, which I really appreciated reading, because I think right now everybody's screaming about property taxes from the top of their lungs. But I want to start with you from, give us some of that personal history about you. You've got a long history of owning businesses across Texas, and corporate. You got a lot of corporate experience. So tell everybody about yourself. How long you've been here in Johnson County, and about your family.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Cleburne, and went to college, UT Arlington. And after that, because I wanted to pursue IT, computer science, wasn't much in Cleburne I could do, or Johnson County. So I went off to Dallas, had a very lucrative career, doing a lot of different things, mostly running businesses. Most of my experience was taking struggling businesses and turning them around or making them grow. And then as I got close to retirement, I decided I wanted to move back, and we moved back to Burleson. Lived in Burleson for quite a few years, and then as Burleson grew and I got more frustrated with the congestion, traffic congestion, we decided to move to the country. We bought a place in the south part of the county, west of Rio Vista. All of my family's here. My brother and my 3 sons and their families are all in Johnson County. And, the reason I'm running, I really want to usher in a new era of open government for Johnson County. Ever since I can remember, you don't hear much, if anything, about what's going on in the county government. You don't know what results you're getting, what you're paying for. A lot of tax money, but you don't know what you're getting for your money. I want to open it up. I want to have, if I'm elected county judge, I'm going to have regular, ongoing dialogue with the taxpayers of the county. Those that want to. Frankly, most of them don't care. But some do.
They should.
Yes, they should.
Well, I mean, and I think it's important too that if and we had some gentlemen on who were running for some of the commissioner office spots. What was that election 2 years ago, year and a half ago? I think it was right before the pandemic. And I think most people don't even understand what the county commissioners do, and don't even understand, they can't meet for lunch and chat about county business whatsoever. So most people, they don't understand the dynamic of any of that.
Well, the commissioners and the county judge can't meet and talk business. That's got to be in the public forum.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I can't sit and have lunch with taxpayers.
Correct.
Right.
Have breakfast with taxpayers, hear what they've got to say. They have a voice, and they need to have a voice into the county government. I'm going to make sure they have that. I'm also going to make sure they know what's going on.
So I was talking about this with my husband this morning, because he's an attorney and a former city attorney for 26 cities in West Texas. And so to explain it in the easiest way to people who don't understand county government, you're almost kind of like the mayor of the county is the county judge. You're over the commissioners. There's no city council, but when you look at the hierarchy, it sits kind of like that. For those that don't understand it, it's not the same realm, but
can I give you a little different?
Yeah, please do.
Perception of that. The county judge does not sit over the commissioners; they're peers. The commissioners are elected by their constituents. The county judge presides over the meetings. The county judge is responsible for the administrative functions of the county, not like a mayor, but more like a city manager. I think in the larger counties, and we're at that point now, the county judge is really more of a county executive. He's responsible for planning and budgets. He's responsible for contracts, contract administration. He's responsible for HR, IT. Any function that's not headed up by an elected official falls under the county judge. So it's a big administrative job. Should be called county executive, in my opinion. But be that as it may, that is the real key to the job. And I have executive experience.
Yes, you do. You have, you really do have a long resume. So your wife, was she a resident of Johnson County when you met her?
She had just moved to the county when I first met her.
I was gonna say, what's your?
That's a long story. We're high school sweethearts, but she didn't fall for me quickly. I had to pursue her for quite a while.
You fell for her quickly,
I
but
did.
she was just teasing you.
She might need to be. She might need to be present in order to answer these questions. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we may have slightly different perceptions of what went on, but I was the pursuer for a long time.
So reading through your resume, as you will, on your website, as a resident of Tarrant County, you served as precinct chair in Tarrant County Republican Party. You served 2 years as chairman of the Dallas PAC for a major oil company, and life member and benefactor of the NRA. What I like about, you really do put it all out here on your website, and
yes, I do.
You're very, very transparent about exactly what it is that you're looking to do. As an advocator for lowering our property taxes, what is it that you think you can do, and as working with the commissioner's court, to help make that happen from a county level? What kind of, I don't want to use the word control.
What you have to do, I've done this in my corporate executive role. You have to foster a spirit of innovation. You can't do business the way you've always done it and expect to be able to cut costs. You have to innovate. And I think I can help people find ways to innovate, whether it's an elected official or someone, a department head underneath me. We will be always looking for ways to innovate, to reduce cost, to run more efficiently. And that will lead to lower cost, which gives you the opportunity to lower taxes. That's not going to happen quickly. It's not like Duaine will take office on January 2nd, January 3rd, we're going to lower taxes. That's not going to happen that way. But over time, I think we can make it happen.
Well, that's typically the expectation that people have when they vote a president in, that everything's going to happen like that, and stuff's usually not happening until they're walking out the door. So, because it takes time to make these things happen. So, you've also when you were here in Burleson, and I'm not sure you mentioned this yet, but you did serve on the zoning board here of adjustment for 5.5 years. So you know the people who some of the players who've worked throughout the county.
I do.
Already. So that I would find to be quite helpful as well. I want to talk about some of the other things that you'd like to do. Obviously you're going to support law and order, promote integrity within the government. You say you will bring government, providing more accountability. How do you bring more accountability from the county commissioner's office to the people if the people don't yet understand exactly what the county commissioners are responsible for?
Great question. First step is to develop operational measurements for the county, performance measurements for the departments. And it's like simple things like crime statistics. I've asked a number of people, what the crime statistics are for Johnson County? You know what they always respond with? I don't know. What are they?
We're seeing it even on the city level. We do not have accurate crime statistics.
Well, accuracy is a separate issue, but first you have to start gathering the data. You have to measure performance, and that's kind of the key. And once you do that, and you communicate that to the taxpayers, now they have a value proposition they can look at. Okay, I'm paying X dollars in property taxes, and this is what I'm getting for my dollars. Well, okay, is it worth it? If not, then maybe we need a change. That's where the accountability comes in. Right now, I would submit to you there's little to no accountability because there's no measurement. Simple example, I've heard one member of the commissioner's court say that we've lowered the tax rate. That is true. But I also have a printout here, the cover letter to the budget that the county's operating under now. And if I can take a
Please
moment and read
do.
This budget will raise more revenue from property taxes than last year's budget by an amount of $5.7 million, which is a 10.92% increase from last year's budget. The property tax revenue to be raised from new property added to the tax roll this year is $3,121,754. You lowered the tax rate 1%, but we get 10.92% more tax revenue. I was a math major, but I don't think you need to be a math major to figure out,
Well, let me.
how does that work? So the key to me is you have to be motivated to manage your cost and manage the taxes down. And right now, there is no motivation I can see to do that. And my favorite politician of all time, Ronald Reagan, he said, government always finds a need for any money that it gets.
That's where. So that was actually going to be my question, right? So when a county is looking to increase revenue, what is the purpose, right? I mean, because counties, cities, these are not entities that are in the business of being profitable. You have to be profitable in order to pay your staff, yes, and to pay to pay the overhead costs. But there shouldn't be anything left in the kitty that says we need more and we're going to make the people pay for it just so we can raise our budget so that we can give. I mean, you know what I mean?
Isn't that the big secret?
Yeah,
How do you manage efficiently? You know,
right.
That's the big deal.
Right. Without costing the people more money.
Yeah.
And
you still have to pay your people fairly. You still have to train
Right.
the people. You have to do all the things to have a good, effective organization. The one thing you don't do, or I've never seen in government, is a spirit of innovation, like I mentioned a few minutes ago. It is important that we foster that kind of spirit in government. How do we innovate? How do we get more done with the same people so we don't have to add people as we grow?
Well, what about additional revenue streams too for a county that isn't coming from the taxpayer? Is there opportunities for that? And that's question one. And then question two, and you can answer these in any way you want to or time together. I'm not sure they actually will. Two, as county judge, how will you be able to work or influence the our county tax assessor to make these things happen for the taxpayer?
A central appraisal district is a separate issue. It's not under the county. They establish the appraisals, and I have a lot of thoughts about how that's done. Let me just, as a side note here, I am an advocate for eliminating property taxes altogether. I think it's an ill-conceived system that's impossible to manage fairly and equitably.
Well, I think
having said that, what the county can do, they change the tax rate. And what you pay in taxes, your tax bill, there's a formula. One variable is the tax rate. The other variable is your appraisal. So the county can lower the tax rate. They didn't have to have a nearly 11% increase in tax revenue. It could have been a lot less if they'd lowered the rate a little bit more. Now, why they did that, I don't know. I really don't know. And I can't say that I would have done anything different, except I think I'm motivated differently. And let me say, I'm not motivated to lower my property taxes. I'm over 65. My taxes are frozen.
You're frozen, right.
But I do have people that are suffering from skyrocketing property taxes as a byproduct of the appraisals. A lot of taxpayers that are friends of mine, and three in particular I'm very close to, my three sons. They're all suffering. It needs to stop.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a paid off house and still paying on
and you're renting it from the county.
Yeah.
So Brenda Gammon has a question for you. She says, how do you plan to foster a good working relationship with the commissioners?
You have to sit down and just talk to them. You know, it's all about communication. It's about listening as much as it is about talking. And I think there's a lot that each of them would want to say to me as soon as I become county judge. And I would be more than willing to sit and listen to anything they've got to say, as long as they will listen to me as well.
Do you find that you have some of that camaraderie already with the county commissioners, or is this a whole new relationship building?
I don't really know them well enough to say I have a relationship with them. I know them. I've met them. Nothing more than a passing acquaintance right now.
Okay. So what do I want to get back to your resume. Hang on, I'm flopping between pictures here because I want to make sure I'm answering questions. And
let me add, all these executive positions I took over, I always had people I had to develop relationships with. Here's the new guy that comes in, and it isn't just he gets to preside over our meetings. This is a guy that can make hiring and firing decisions that affect me. And I'm very proud of the fact I terminated very few people in the organizations I turned around. It was never about the people. It was always about the processes and the lack of innovation.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see some innovation within our county. What other things do you feel you can bring to the table as county judge that your opponents cannot bring to the table?
Well, the county's got a almost $80 million budget. That's a big process to manage, planning and managing that budget. I've run businesses up to $150 million budget. I had 15 business units from Seattle to Atlanta and from Phoenix to Philadelphia, and we had to manage a $150 million budget. So I've got the experience to do that. What I don't know is what the budget process of the county looks like. That's going to be a learning curve for me, and I have to get into that.
Doesn't look like you have any fear of learning how to do that.
No.
Every place I've gone, I've had to learn. I've had to learn new people. I've had to learn a little bit about the business, different cities. Doing business in Phoenix is not like doing business in Philadelphia.
Right.
Doing business in Dallas is not like doing business in Seattle. So you have to learn to adapt. You have to learn to read people and learn to get along with people.
What else do you want people to know about you as far as running for this position?
I would like for them to know that I am not looking for a second career like so many people that have run for commissioners and county judges roles in the past. I am, everybody knows I'm retired. I'd like to come out of retirement and use some of the skills I've developed over the years to help improve the situation in the county. I don't need a job. I'm comfortably retired. I had a very lucrative career. My investments are doing well. I don't need a job. I will donate. I've already pledged at least 1/3 of my pay to area charities. I would pledge more if my investments continue to do as well as they're doing now. But, I'm conservative, right? By definition, that's what I am. I am cautious about overcommitting. And I think 1/3 is going to be very easy for me to do.
I think that's very generous of you.
Well, I'm not in this for money.
No, well, that's that's actually what I like about that. It's not just about the generous part of it. It was you're not coming in here and wanting to run for this position so you can pad your pockets. You clearly don't need the money. And that shows when you're putting it out there to offer 1/3 of your salary to local charities. How will you pick those charities?
These dialogues I have with the taxpayers, I'm going to ask for input from the taxpayers. Which charities, why those charities, and what's the benefit to the county from those charities?
Right.
I already have a couple in mind. One in particular that I'm real sensitive to. But I think the money that I get paid that I'm going to give to charities is really the taxpayers' money. It's not my money. So where do you want it to go?
I think that's a really great thing. Put it to the people.
Yes.
Everything needs to be put to the people. I like that you talk about sitting down with taxpayers and having conversations with them about what they want. I think this is the part people really do get lost in. First of all, they get lost in city politics. If you're not watching city council meetings and you're not paying attention to what's going on, then you can't question down the road, why do we have 10 new traffic circles and you don't like them, nor do you know how to drive around them if you're not paying attention to that, to what's going on around you. And that's even more so on the county level because it does get more confusing. And so I'd love to have, even commissioners back to the table more often to really talk about what's going on across Johnson County and how can we help I'm slightly concerned. My brother-in-law has called me twice in a row now, which is not usual. So I'm just going to check. So sorry.
okay.
I'm praying it's not a family member issue. So, I think that communication is the most important thing, and education is just number one. We have to educate the taxpayers and the people of our counties as to how things work, how they can get involved. And, that's that next question I have for you. How do you plan to get more taxpayers involved in the county government side as to helping, educating, and
When taxpayers see a benefit in participating, they'll come participate. They have to see a benefit. This is not an original idea with me. When I lived in Burleson, I don't know if you're still doing it, they used to do something they call Connect with Council. Every 2 or 3 months, I don't remember exactly, there would be 2 members of the city council on a Saturday morning, and they'd meet in a public venue like a library or whatever, and anybody that wanted to could come to those meetings. And I went to the meetings nearly every time, and we usually have anywhere from 12 or 15 to maybe 25 people in the meetings. And it was an opportunity for open dialogue. What do you think? Questions from the taxpayers that are there. And the city councilman would have comments to make. It was a great dialogue. I'd like to see that done at the county level. I don't know if they still do it in Burleson.
I really like that. They're not doing that. I think there's a lot more social media involved in some of that connecting, which I don't agree with. I don't believe it belongs on social media. I know that one former council person had suggested that they are out at the farmers market, every Saturday. I disagree with that. I don't believe politics belongs where people are out enjoying themselves. Make it a separate event. I like that idea. I'm going to actually propose that to the council about the Connect with Council and to see if they can bring that back, because it's not something that they're doing currently.
Right. It back at that time, social media wasn't as pervasive as it is today. You can do a virtual town hall now.
Yep.
And some guy can sit in his office at home, have his coffee and donut and his pajamas, and he can participate in the town hall. We can do that now. We just haven't made that transition from the old in-person to the digital era.
But you can still do in person and still do virtual at the same time.
Oh, I will.
I mean, there can be people who don't want to get dressed and they want to have their coffee at their house but be able to participate. So, yeah.
Toilet paper rolls over or under?
Over.
Do you have a pick for Sunday's game?
No, I don't follow the NFL since they started going woke.
I heard about. Okay. Thank you for joining us.
That's
Good luck with
right.
the race. We appreciate you, and I hope to see you back here at our table soon.
Thank you very much.
Right. Have a great day, guys. Go out and be kind.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The inflation news pretty grim. The January Consumer Price Index has prices soaring 7.5% over the past year. It's a 40-year high, and it's even worse than economists were expecting. Meanwhile, the unemployment report a bit better than the experts were expecting.
The Labor Department reports jobless claims fell by 16,000 to 223,000 last week. The 4-week average for claims fell slightly after rising for 5 straight weeks. This occurred as the Omicron variant of the coronavirus spread, disrupting business in many parts of the U.S.
That's correspondent Jeremy House. Tens of thousands of Russian troops